Before the next episode of X Job Downloaded starts, I have a big favour to ask. If you've enjoyed any of our episodes so far, please can you click on the follow button on your platform. I'm on Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon and YouTube. It costs nothing to follow, but makes a real difference to me as a podcast producer. Thank you. On the 16th of January 2023, X Job Downloaded are delighted to present the podcast with Mike Sutton OBE, the former Wing Commander of 1 Squadron RAF. Sit back and listen to his fantastic story.
So the pace of change in that with aircraft has been amazing. And I think what we've seen recently or over the last few decades, they have got quicker, sure. And, you had things like the Blackbird, the American spy plane, it could do Mach 3.
Yeah.
But most of the time, fighters these days are flying around at 500 miles an hour. Well, they were doing that 50 or 60 years ago. What you've got really inside the cockpit is a much more clever computer network helping you now. The weapons are more accurate. There's been a much more clear drive towards safety in aviation that there wasn't so much in the 50s, where I think the risk, you had this World War II generation that, flying's risky, so man up and get on with it.
Yeah.
Whereas now so much effort's put in towards not losing aeroplanes, for very good reasons, and managing and mitigating risk. And so the whole flying world has, moves along at different, accelerates and has different focuses at different times of its evolution. So it's very interesting.
You see, you're talking about the airstrike situation, which we'll come on to. I was talking to a guy from the Green Berets, and his job was he would go forward to within, they were pathfinders, effectively pathfinders, and they would go within a few hundred metres of the target, and they'd pinpoint the target with a laser, and then the weapons would be dispatched, and it would be nobody else. There'd be no collateral damage. It would be just that factory, that tower block, that whatever it may be. And it's absolutely fascinating, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. So you're talking about a thing called close air support, which is where, and that was really what we were doing in the Typhoon over in the Middle East, was supporting ground troops. And if you imagine. Half of Iraq on the eastern side, all up the northern border and into Syria was one great big front line of activity. That's a huge amount of territory where you've got fighting going on, all along it, a great amount of the time. And you've got very limited amount of aircraft to support that, because fast jets are expensive, air forces are relatively small, and what the concept is that you only use the air power when you need it. And so we would generally be called to support situations where the army don't actually have it under control, or they're at risk. And as you were saying about your colleague in the Green Berets who was calling in airstrikes because they wanted an effect that an aircraft could provide that probably a small group of soldiers in that instance couldn't. And often we were called in when the risk to friendlies had got to the point that their lives were now at risk.
Right.
And so you would be dropping weapons in extreme.
You can follow X Job Downloaded on all podcast platforms: Apple, Amazon, Spotify, YouTube and Google. Click on the follow button and you'll never miss an episode.